Ladies and gentlemen, the Seattle Seahawks have been hit with some devastating injuries, but there is light at the end of the tunnel as some players continue to ball out during preseason. And it seems like the cornerback competition is definitely heating up. And the Seahawks may have randomly found one of the most mobile QBs ever through East Carolina. And remember, if you want more NFL content from me, make sure you subscribe to WiFiWillie NFL. First things first, Jaxon Smith Njigba, the stud wide receiver selected in the first round. The Seattle Seahawks found a way to grab the best wide receiver in the NFL draft, but unfortunately, he is undergoing surgery, and this is such devastating news for the Seattle Seahawks. He is poised to have a good year, already balling out in training camp, already balling out in preseason, and now Jaxon Smith Njigba is going to undergo wrist surgery in Philadelphia. Still could have a chance to be ready at the start of the regular season per sources. Surgery will determine how long he will miss. He hurt his wrist Saturday night in Dallas, so they had Jaxon Smith Njigba out there playing. You know, some of the starters did play. Geno Smith did get some action. And is it really smart to do that when you already know this guy is going to be the third best wide receiver on your team? Obviously, the Seahawks are regretting having this guy play now, but you gotta get him acclimated to the NFL so he's ready for week one. But unfortunately, this is what's going to go down. And honestly, I don't think this guy is going to be ready for week one. Adam Schefter is trying to say there's a possibility. If the dude is having wrist surgery, you really expect him to be playing full contact football in 3 weeks. I think they got to let Jaxon Smith Njigba heal up. The Seahawks might be fine. They have some sleeper wide receivers on this team like Jake Bobo. This guy is just making tons of plays every single week. Ooh, burns that guy right there. I like this guy. He's got kind of a redneck look, and then the dude ran a 4.99 40-yard dash. But you got a lot of people hyping the UCLA Bruin up. He's a rookie. People are saying don't let that 4.9 40-yard dash time fool you. He's making plays, and they believe this guy will make the 53-man roster. So the Seahawks are decimated at wide receiver. D. Eskridge and Jaxon Smith Njigba both likely out for week one. Then you don't have much depth outside of those guys unless Jake Bobo ends up being that guy. And Devon Witherspoon, the other first-round pick, has not been practicing for quite some time, almost 2 weeks now. He's had a hamstring issue. Just the other day, Richard Sherman was at practice about 4 days ago. Richard Sherman was talking to Devon Witherspoon, but Devon Witherspoon was not practicing again. We haven't seen this guy at preseason yet, and it just seems like asking him to start 3 weeks from now is really a tough task. Luckily, the Seahawks anticipate Derrick Hall being ready to go for week one. So the question is, who's going to be that guy starting opposite of Derrick Hall? And it looks like the former 4th-round pick in 2021, Tre Brown, is making his case to be that guy. He made tons of plays in this past preseason game. He played some of the most snaps he has in preseason so far. And we know the guy dealt with some injuries last year, was only able to play and appear in 3 games, and in 2 of those games, he only had 3 total snaps. So the former Oklahoma Sooner has just not been able to showcase his skills. But now in preseason, he has played a ton, and in this past game against the Cowboys, had a 90 coverage grade according to PFF, 88.7 defensive grade, and he was able to get an interception and only allowed 15 yards on 3 receptions and 4 targets. You love to see that. We know Michael Jackson is also going to be in the competition for the cornerback position. Then you got Derrick Hall on the other side, but Tre Brown really could be starting opposite of Derrick Hall if he can continue to make plays and maybe squeeze out Michael Jackson to be the 3rd cornerback on this depth chart.
Did Tre Brown win a job tonight?
Oh, I don't know that. I can't. No, not at this point. No, I don't think I could say that about it. I haven't watched the film. I haven't seen anything. He did a nice job, though. Really cool open field tackle that he made. The one he missed last week, he makes this week. Beautiful, improvement, and the big play. He's a good football player. He's doing really well. He's played really well consistently, and we're lucky to have him on our side.
He was out there.
And it seems like the Seahawks may have a 4th quarterback on their roster, as you have Pete Carroll here making some plays, pump faking, finding the open receiver, throwing some dots at practice. The man is like 71 years old, still able to move like this. Damn. Pete Carroll, let us know your secret. Let us know the diet and exercise tips. I'm listening. And last year, the Seahawks finished 7th in sacks, and this year they're pretty pretty much relying on a lot of young players to get this pass rush going. Last year, they had a lot of players like Bruce Irvin come back in the mix to help out. But now they're expecting the combination of Boye Mafe, the second-round pick in 2002, along with Derrick Hall, the second-round pick in 2023, hoping these guys can get some pass rush for this team. And in preseason, you saw Boye Mafe really step up. He got 4 total pressures, 3 hurries, 2 tackles, and he was able to get an 81.6 PFF pass rushing grade. And that's pretty good to do against a decent Dallas Cowboys offensive line. But that was not the only preseason surprise. You had an undrafted quarterback from East Carolina that the Seahawks picked up this year. Holton Ahlers was making some plays with his legs. The dude had like over 40 yards rushing, and he was able to scramble a lot and find some open receivers on the run. Yeah, it's backups against backups. Yeah, he's not the most impressive guy and definitely made some mistakes last week. But in this Cowboys game, I feel like he turned some heads around and made a lot of people think like, whoa, maybe this guy could be more interesting than we realize. And you had Geno Smith loving some of those moves by Holton Ahlers.
I thought Holton was a freaking blast watching him play. Man, this guy's a fun football player, and he's tough, and he's scrappy. He comes up with the throw. He threw a great fade ball that we didn't handle right, but he knows how to finish games, so that was really fun watching him play.
I'm not trying to act like Holton Ahlers can be some starting QB or whatever, but he's somebody who could be a Swiss Army knife for your team. Maybe a Taysom Hill-like figure. 68 yards, 5 yards a carry. Yeah, he coughed it up a couple times, but on 11 attempts, that's great production. And in terms of passing the football, he wasn't terrible for a rookie, didn't throw an interception, and Drew Lock really looked fantastic in this past preseason game. He looked decent in week 1, but he looked even better this past week, like he could really be a top backup QB in the NFL.
I think he's a starter. I mean, that's what we're so excited about having. We thought that when we got him, it just didn't work out. And Geno was just too much in command.
And that's great for a guy who's dealt with some drama being selected in the first round from the Denver Broncos. We know Geno Smith has dealt with that same drama, but unfortunately he got banged up in that past game. However, Pete Carroll is saying that he expects Drew Lock to play in this upcoming preseason game.
Drew Lock okay, or what happened?
Yeah, it sounds like he's going to be fine. They, after the evaluation, got a little bit of a strain in the back of his knee. Got hyperextended a little bit, but there's no damage, and so they think that he'll play next week.
So luckily, he did not get banged up too badly. But it seems like as the season approaches, the hype is settling down for the Seattle Seahawks. The injuries to the first-round picks in Njigba and Witherspoon are giving Seahawks fans pause. But it seems like Seattle has enough talent to weather the storm right now. They will be facing the Los Angeles Rams in just a few weeks. Let me know in the comments below, do you think the Seahawks are going to beat the Rams in week 1, or are they going to get a wake-up call and will the hype settle? I still think they have enough players to cover while the rookies get healthy, so I think they'll be fine. My name is WiFiWillie. Subscribe to this channel for more NFL videos if you have not yet. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.